Hi, so in this video I'm going to show you how to get set up, download and get started with the MacFLStudioMCP. This is going to be a series of videos where I show how to get it installed and up and running. You can run this using Claude code, or you can run it with open code. You can also run it with the web version of Claude, and so I'm going to show that as well too. And then you can run it with open code and some of the other agents as well. So I'll show that as well. So this repo is a fork of another project that's here. This other project is a Windows-based version of this idea and this MCP. And so what this does is it forks that in order to make it work on Mac OS. And so there was a couple things that are difficult about making it work on Mac OS. Number one, the socket approach for the Windows project doesn't work for Mac. So I went back and used an idea that's been around for a while, just use file-based communication with FL Studio from the MCP server. But never mind about that. If you want to see it in action with Claude, web-based Claude, so Claude.ai, there's a video here that shows how you can hook this, how you can have Claude send messages and requests from the MCP right over to FL Studio. So, but that video doesn't really show how to set it up at all. So this set of videos will. So there's two ways you can use it. You can use it with Claude Code and Open Code and the agentic tools, and you can run everything locally, or you can set it up so that a web-based Claude.ai or another place like Mistral, which also has connectors, can talk to this MCP as well. So I'm going to show you how to set up both of those. First, what we're going to do is clone the repo, and then we're going to do some installation stuff. Then we have to set up some virtual MIDI stuff because this approach still requires a MIDI port for communication. So I'll show you how to set that up. It's not too bad, but you have to go to this utility on the Mac and set it up. And then you're going to activate the settings in FL Studio once that's set up. And so you hook up the controller code or script that does the communication, and I'll show you how to set that up. Finally, if you want to use this in web-based Claude, there's a little setup with that where it runs an HTTP server and it exposes a port, and so that's the MCP running as a remote HTTP server. And so in order to make that work between a local machine and Claude, you need to use a tunnel through Cloudflare. And so I'll show you how to set that up as well too. And then once we're done with that, we'll go and hook it up to Claude.ai so that it works. So there's a number of steps, but I think if you're persistent, you should be okay. And I'll try to be real detailed about it as well too. So the first thing I want to do is bring up a terminal. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to use my regular terminal, and it comes up right there. And so I'm just going to type in pwd, which is print working directory, and I want to see where we are. We're in my home directory, so that's a good place to be. And so over here, what we're going to get is we're going to get the URL that is this repo, and we're going to clone this down, and we're going to set it up. So we're going to say git clone. If you don't have git installed, go ahead and Google how to install git and just install it on your Mac because you're going to need it to work with this repo. And then say git clone, and let's go and get the repo address. So I think it was the same as up there, but I'm going to use this one again. Come down here and copy this URL. So go to code and then local. And then come back over here and paste it in, and so it looks like that. And this is going to set up a directory or a folder in my home directory called MacFLStudioMCP. And there we go. So that's fine. And now I'm just going to do an ls to show me what things are in here. And so you can see that there is the, there it is right there. So that was just created. These are all the folders or files that are in my home directory. So I'm going to say cd and change into that directory. If you notice, when you're at the terminal, you can start typing some of a name of something, and then if you just hit tab, it'll put in the rest of it. So that's called tab completion. So you can practice that if you're working at the terminal. Okay, so, and you could leave that if you want. That's fine, and hit return. And now I'm just going to do a PWD again to see where I am. And let's see what files are in this one. Okay, so there's a file called install mac.sh, which will run in a minute. And then if you ever want to uninstall things, you can run this uninstall Mac script here. These are both scripts that you can run that set things up. Then there's a README. It's the same README that's online over here. So it's the same as this README right here. And then there's also a Claude.md file here, which tells Claude how to work with this repo. So, okay, so we don't need much of the details for this stuff. But the first thing we are going to do is run this thing called install Mac. So let's just follow along with the steps over here. Okay, so it says to run that. And the way to run that is to just type dot and then / and then install Mac like this. Let's hope this works okay. And if there are any error messages, just give your favorite chatbot the script and also the error message and ask it what went wrong or whatever. So what the script does is it puts some files over into FL Studio directories that we need. There's one file that allows it to work with the piano editors. It's called Compose with LLM, and I'll show you how that works a little bit later. But that's the script that allows the MCP to communicate with the piano editor and the piano editor state. And then there's some other stuff as well too that gets installed, mostly stuff related to the controller that's being set up here to allow the communication, and then some files to allow us to pass some data back and forth as well. So okay, so those need to be installed, and if your FL Studio is kind of set up in a normal way, then it'll find it and install those files. Then it looks for a version of Python it can use. And then if Claude Code is installed, it installs the MCP setting so that Claude can boot up the MCP. So if Claude is running it locally, Claude Code is running it, it's a standard IO, STDIO, standard IO server, which means it's just running locally as Python. And then it tells you what the next steps are. So the next steps have to do with setting up the virtual MIDI ports, and so I'm going to do that in the next video. But so far so good. If you've got the repo downloaded and you ran the install mac.sh, then you're on your way there.